Good morning, everyone. It's Feroze Engineer from Xenith Intelligent Workplace Services. I'm here today with Brian Watling from DMS International Consultants. Brian is an executive coach focusing on management development to create culture, build loyalty, and inspire change. He's a published author and an authority on performance management. So thanks for being with us today, Brian. Really appreciate you coming on with us.
It's my pleasure. I look forward to it.
To everyone out there, personally, I can vouch for Brian's expertise in the area as he's been coaching us at Xenith as well. And we've all really benefited from his monthly sessions with us and with the senior management team. This chat came about because I noticed one of Brian's articles online talking about stress management. So I thought it'd be great to dig a little deeper and get his views on how we can all deal with stress a little bit better and how we can manage it better. So Brian, you've spent many years in different business environments, many years as a family man. How would you define stress?
Stress, in simplistic terms, are mental and physical distress caused by unusual circumstances. And I say, or difficult circumstances. Those difficult circumstances might be a person. Those difficult circumstances may be workload. Those circumstances might be health.
Sure.
And we could go through a whole long list of it. But basically, it is caused by a demand on our energy, mental and physical. So, for example, stress is a good thing, actually. Speaking very basically, when we're placed under stress, we get that kick of energy. It's called the fight or flight syndrome. That allows us to run 100 miles an hour or to leap over tall buildings to deal with the circumstance that we're facing.
Sure.
The problem comes when that is elongated. In other words, when it goes on for too long, then the body is not able to sustain that. And that's where we start to get into trouble.
And how does that manifest itself, Brian? What are some common symptoms that one would notice if one were under stress for a prolonged period of time?
Okay, well, let me just tell you that stress has manifested itself in 3 stages. The first stage is called the mobilizing of energy.
Sure.
That is where we get an immediate speeding up of the system. We feel that we need to do things faster. We think faster, we act faster, act more quickly. So it's called mobilizing our energy. Yeah. The second stage is the consuming of the energy. That's where we're actually going to use the energy that we've mobilized, and we're going to use that. And then the third stage is the draining of the energy. That's where where it's going to go away. So in stage 1, if you're suffering from stage 1 stress, which is called the mobilizing of energy, you'll notice that you'll think faster, you'll act faster, you'll want to do things faster. Suddenly you think that there's not enough hours in the day. Suddenly you feel, and with that comes the overwhelming feeling. Hold on, too much to do, can't get it done in the time, that kind of thing.
I see. Absolutely, no, that makes perfect sense. And I can, just as you were speaking, I could relate that to the stages which I experience in my daily life as well. So Brian, if one were to want to get out of the stress cycle, and perhaps one was in stage 3, how would one be able to sort of escape some of the more grievous symptoms of stress, if that makes sense?
I mean, stage 3 is the draining of the energy, and usually the way that manifests itself is physically. So we start to feel ill, headache, ringing in the head or frequent head noises.
Yep.
Sometimes you'll get problems with the stomach. Antacids will be excessive. So usually, if it's the draining of the energy,
Yep.
that has the physical, if you like, what am I looking for? Symptoms
Sure.
that you see. And that's why so many experts or doctors, when it comes to stress, will ask you to do things of a physical nature to try and keep the body up to speed to deal with it. So things like going for walks, or things like running, things like getting some fresh air, things like trying to chill out, things like listening to music that will calm you down, or things like doing something completely different. Something
Sure.
that for a period of time will take you out of that cycle.
That environment and that
the
cycle.
interesting thing for us is you don't have to do it for a long period of time. It depends on the person and how severe it is, of course, but you can break that cycle with short periods of time.
So, Brian, in your experience, can times of strife also bring with them the opportunity to innovate? And how can we sort of channel our frustrations into more productive thoughts?
Yeah, yes, they can. And when we talk about innovation, I'd like to think of it from two angles. Innovating for the good of the company, or innovating for the good of the community. But personal innovation. And the interesting thing about personal innovation is that I can innovate on something that's already happening.
Yep.
So, for example, in simplistic terms, if I start doing something that I've never done before, and personally, I'm being innovative. Do you understand what I mean? So I'm not talking about innovation in terms of coming up with something
absolutely
completely new. And one of the things that this lockdown has enabled, or is enabling people to do, is to do things that perhaps they have put on the back burner. Something that has been a dream, or something that has been, on their to-do list for a long period of time. And it really is as simple as that. Mend the relationship. A family relationship. Maybe I fell out with a cousin, or fell out with a brother, or fell out with. When you talk about innovation, it's looking for ways, coming up with ways, ideas in which we can socialize together, where we can meet together, where we can see people, where we can talk with people, when we can look into people's eyes, when we can touch hearts, where we can mend relationships that are broken. I would really, really encourage people to do that. And when you do that, if you mend a relationship in a day, no matter what has been thrown at you during that day, if you mend a relationship in that day, that will have the biggest effect on you mentally and physically than anything that's happened.
I'm sure you're right, Brian. That absolutely resonates with what I've seen in the last few months. And absolutely, it's been great reaching out to people and speaking to people who perhaps we hadn't taken the trouble to do that before with. I know I've spoken to loads of family members and friends who I hadn't connected with in months, if not years. And it's, in a way, this strange situation has brought us all closer rather than taken us further apart in that sense, which is, of course, a fantastic silver lining. And a brilliant note to end on as well, I think.
Before we end, please let me add my congratulations to Xenith, because I'm reading your posts on LinkedIn and talk about innovation. I just congratulate you on the way that the company has looked to see how they can digitalize things, how they can simplify things, how they can make things work more effective. I mean, talk about it being innovative. I would use Xenith as a great example of how to be innovative during this period of lockdown.
Fantastic. No, we're certainly doing our best for ourselves and for our customer base as well. Really appreciate your time, Brian. Thanks ever so much. And I'm sure we'll speak again soon.
Look forward to it.